My name is Michael Byron Henderson, but I just go by Byron, and my degree program is a Bachelor of Commerce with a focus in economics. So I had worked for 6 years full-time in the Navy, and I was getting ready to release from the military, and I kind of just wanted something to challenge myself and get out of my comfort zone and maybe see another part of the world and live there. So I applied to the SMU exchange program. I chose Australia because I was looking, like I said, I wanted a challenge, so it's on the other side of the world. It wasn't easy because I didn't have the support system, but I wanted to kind of go out of my comfort zone. And it also helped that there was, a bit of an English-speaking base, so that I didn't have to try and learn school with a different language. The university did a few things to help support my exchange. The big thing was Miyuki at the start, the person in charge, always double checked that I had everything ready to go, and then she made sure that I had my classes correct, and then she double checked that I had my visas. So you always felt you had someone checking on you to make sure you had all your bases covered. And then when I was on exchange, she made it an important part of her job to do check-ins on me. And it was pretty honest and open, if you need to talk, just come here. Luckily, I was not in a place where I needed any to kind of reach out to her. But just knowing that you had someone who was kind of looking out for you back in Halifax was nice. So the most memorable part of my experience was just experiencing the Australian kind of nature and outback and going on trips out of the city to see what kind of the small beach towns and the small cities in the outback were like. I think the hardest thing was just getting to meet people in Sydney and from my class. I found it very cliquey, and that's primarily why I joined a lot of just sports teams and extracurricular activities, was just to kind of get to see people outside of the classroom, because a lot of people had already had, you could tell as soon as you walked into the classroom, a lot of people had already had established relationships with each other prior to the classes they were taking. My first semester, I was lucky in that there was 3 other people in one of my economics classes are from Germany on exchange program. So we were all in a similar scenario, so we kind of bonded over that and would hang out over that. But then their exchange ended at the end of the first semester. So then the second semester, I joined a rugby team, and that's where I got to meet just a lot of more kind of local people who'd grown up in Australia, and kind of had just more the, I guess, traditionally Australian experience of just going to games and then hanging out. The activities I engaged in here that I wouldn't have engaged in otherwise was, I think, just a lot of the beach and surf culture. Going to pristine beaches all across the city or all across the coastline, and then trying activities like surfing and wakeboarding. My experience affected my personal development in that I went from a close-knit friend group and a strong social support system to not having any of that when I moved abroad and having to restart. So I guess it just keeps your mind open to the reverse idea that if you're in a scenario where you have a strong support system or a strong social system, and you see someone who might not be fitting in or who doesn't have the same rapport with the people that you're hanging out with, to try to make it important to understand what they might be going through and to kind of have an inclusiveness and try and make them feel a part of the group. I got to just experience people from all different backgrounds hanging out. You'd see people connecting from all different parts of the world and backgrounds, which you might not necessarily get to see in a small town or a small city. So it was kind of cool just seeing that, and if there was a cultural or religious background, there was no difference, and everyone kind of just got together and hung out, which was a neat experience. I think study abroad is important because you gives you the opportunity to experience new culture, new ways of life, and it pushes you to get out of your comfort zone and challenges you to make social connections with people you might not otherwise have. My advice to those who are too scared to take a leap to study abroad would be that it's something that's daunting or kind of intimidating or challenging is rarely as scary as it first seems, and it's a challenge that's well worth it.